right, well, I had a thought, and I know that because my head started hurting, and it was about this little feller, and I'm going to tell you about it right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Ross the Oliver Man. This here is little Francesca the Fiat 1250. And let me update you to where we are in case you haven't been following the whole saga. I bought this to have someplace to put my wrench, and it can't even do that. Nope. I bought this last fall and didn't give that much for it. Spent forever trying to get it converted over to 12 volt in a nice way, because the way they had converted it over was a disaster. And that presented some challenges because the original generator is also the governor, has the governor on the back. So I found what I thought was an elegant solution to that. We had to make a water pump plate where I adapted a 1365 water pump on it, because that's easily available and cheap, and I didn't have none of that stuff. I had nothing. I managed to since make connection with the person who has all those parts. He comments on the videos sometimes, so I know I could get what it's supposed to have. And I did track down, I think, the salvage yard fan and maybe spacer or pulley, so I might have enough stuff to put it back to original if that ever becomes an issue. But I invested time in that, so I'm not changing it. It's staying like this as long as that works. And we got all that done and finally got it where it was running and driving. And then one day I went to pull it out of there and the starter quit. And that was very much sadness, friends. Much like this extreme wind that won't leave us alone. It was sadness. So the other day in the video, I pulled the starter off of here and laid it aside, because I got that 880 starter I want to take in and get rebuilt, and then the one off of this, if he can do anything with it, because the one that I have is a 12 volt conversion starter that somebody put on this years ago, and the armature's twisted and it's just garbage, and I'm sure they probably won't be able to do much with it. So I took it off and had it ready, and then in the video I got the gear reduction for the starter for that John Deere, and piled them all up there together. Well, you know how when you drive down the road, sometimes your mind kind of wanders, you're focused on your driving task, but it's like on a computer when you got the tabs open in the background and they're doing something. Well, my background thought tab was thinking about this starter. And I got to realizing that John Deere starter and this starter are very, very similar. And so yesterday I even pulled them out side by side, and I'm not entirely sure that 2020 starter won't work on here. And we can talk about it. There are some differences, but I'm going to pull them out here side by side and we'll take a look and see what we can come up with. Hopefully you can hear me because it's so windy. I don't know why it has to do that every time I want to be outside, but sure. All right. This is the 12 volt conversion starter off this tractor. This is the one off the John Deere. And you're gonna say, well, they're not anything alike. Well, what if I do this? They're very, very close. The only difference is the clocking angle of the solenoid on here. And that could become a problem, or it might not be a problem. I don't think it will be. So it begs the question, number one, are starter bolt patterns standard among things? Like around the world, when you talk about wheel bolt patterns, there's several accepted examples of patterns. Did they do the same thing with starters? So that would be question number one. Problem number two, if it fits in there, would be the depth of everything. Will it engage with the flywheel? Is the flange where it's going to mount, is that going to be the same distance where this is going to go? I think it will be. A worst case scenario, maybe we would have to shim this out if it won't let loose. But I kind of feel like it's very close. The sadness, though, comes in the fact that this starter is 10 teeth and this starter is 9 teeth. Now, much discussion on the internet ensues about whether that really makes any difference. Some people say as long as the pitch of the teeth is the same, it doesn't matter. And I kind of am in the camp that as long as the diameter of the gear is similar, it would probably be okay. I know that there are some starters you get out there where you get them as replacements and they have a different number of teeth than your original. So there would be some mathematics stuff to do there. And most people would do that. But guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna jam this one on and see if it'll go. And if it turns that over, providing that it will cooperate with us one more time, because that's its problem, it's not reliable. But if it will go, I'll order another gear reduction starter like I got for that other thing, and I'll put it on here. And maybe I need to measure that too, because it may not fit. I may have to get one like this to put on here because of the way that it is, you know. We don't have the clearance. You see what I'm saying? The gear reduction starter is about 3 inches longer, and I don't think we got the 3 inches because we got to go to the back of that governor and get it all in there. Maybe we do and we could make it go. I don't know, but we're gonna see. If it doesn't even engage the flywheel nicely without grinding and carrying on gnashing of teeth, then it's not even an option. But it definitely has me thinking, because if I could get a common starter to replace it, then what I'm gonna do is call the place that I've got the other one on order and say, give me my money back, please, because it's been like 6 months. So let's see if this will work or if it's just another example of me making poor choices in life. I'm having some problems now. All right, let's get these off of there. First issue we could run into is the flanges not being the right distance apart. And if that flies, the second thing we could run into is the bolt holes not being big enough to make her go. So let's just see if we put this in here, if it's even possible. The other day I thought it looked like it might be. And right now I don't think it's going to. And what's the reason? It's the solenoid hitting the linkage. But basically what I'm saying here, friends, is if I can make this work, I'm willing to heavily modify one of these to make it go. I would like to get it on there and see it go vroom. And if it goes vroom, we're good. And if it goes rah, 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 then that means our garbage disposal's broken.
But I can hear him down there making noise.
Oh, you say you got a critter and you can hear him. Now, what kind of sound does he make, caller?
Well, it's kind of growling, kind of, well, I'll try to imitate it for you. It's kind of like, kind of like that.
Uh-huh. This is under your sink in your kitchen?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you might be caught down there in the pipes.
But let's see here. We don't have a lot of play there, but you see how it's so close. It's close enough that it makes you think it's gonna go. But is it really? Our solenoid's hitting, so what could we do? We don't have a lot of choices because of the way that it is. And if I just had one that was clocked differently, I might be able to make her go. Let's pull this off and see if I could clock. No, I can't do that either. It's made, I wish this was made with the tail piece different in relation to this solenoid, where a guy could like rotate it around differently, but it's not. This is made to this, so it's gonna have to go that way. The next choice would be, could I pull the linkage out of the way to put it on, and then and then put it back after we get that on. And that's what I'm gonna try now. I think if I try to remember how this works, because I'm no expert on this Fiat linkage, but if I could pull, oh, let's do it that way. That's the easy side. If we pull this out like this, can we fold? Oh, it's not gonna let us do what I wanted. I wanted to be able to fold that all the way back. Let's try again. Okay. See, it's just not quite. Oh, wah, 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 wah. Wow. I really wanted this to work because of the way that it is. So now what I'm gonna do, just to see if it will even physically go in there, is I'm going to take the solenoid off and see if I can get the body of the starter in there. And if I can do that, why then I can do almost anything. So I'm gonna have to have some screwdrivers for that job. All right, instead of screwdrivers plural, how about screwdriver singular from a viewer? Whoever gave me this, I can't remember which viewer, but it was in a video way back when. And it has all the different types of ends on it that a guy would need. Let's take that off. Now we're gonna switch to back to the flat head. Take this off. This is the same type of solenoid used on a lot of stuff. I think GM vehicles used it too. It just twists in there after you get the screws out. It's got like a tab on the bottom, is what I'm saying. If I didn't make that clear, so you can just do that number there and then try to pull this out of there. There we go. And it could be that this is the only problem with this starter, was this solenoids went bad again. It's kind of corroded-y down in there, but I don't know. Now we got the room we need. Let's see about this. Friends, it really makes a guy wonder, don't it? Look at how good it fits in there. Like minimal grinding, I think, would make it fit. I don't know if I want to full send it with wrenching it all the way down, because if I get it stuck in there, then I'd have a problem. And I don't even know that it's possible to get it on there the way that it is. I mean, you have to see if we can get that back unstarted on there. If we can get it started on there and at least put some tension against it to hold it kind of even, like, we can decide what we're gonna do. Oh boys, come on. You see how this will be quite the struggle to put on and off if this works. But if it works, I'll just get another 2020 starter, or have this one rebuilt and put it on there, and realize that I could take it off and put it on the other tractor in an emergency. But let's see what we got. I think it'll go in there. I think it will. Now, if the gear just meshes, that's another issue entirely. Also, we need to be able to put the solenoid in and then hook up the linkage again without it hitting anything. But if I could find another kind of starter that uses this same bolt pattern, that's what I'm saying. If anybody knows if that's a thing, like 2-bolt starter flanges, are they all created equal? Or is everything unique? That's gonna go right in there. That's gonna go right in there. Yep. Look at that. Bolts right on there. All right, let's see if we can put the solenoid back on as it sits. And then there's going to be the issue of, you know, yeah, this is going to be a problem. Okay. Oh, I think we're going to be hosed in another way now. We're not going to have the... Okay. Come on. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Let's go. Let's fit. Oh, friends, it's so close. I mean, we are talking about fractions of an inch is what we're going to have. And we're probably going to have to modify the linkages to make that happen, because I don't know if we'll get it. I don't know if we'll get that or not. Let's put this on. I really should put the one in the back side, but let's see. I wonder if that would hold, if one would hold it just for testing purposes, because it's really a pain to get in there and get it. So we're gonna try that, because it might grind horribly and not work at all. But that would have to go there. Then this clip would have to go here to even have a chance, which I don't know if I do or not. Okay, come on. This is all practice. In case it actually works, I got to be able to know the procedure of how I'm going to put it on there. Oh man, it is so close to get that in there. Okay, maybe we can go back. Maybe we can go back. There's some reason you won't play ball there. Okay, so that would go there like that. Now that's hooked back up. Guess what though? The starter terminal is the one on the back side. It's not the one out here. And the other thing is, okay, the other thing is these cables won't be long enough. Maybe just barely. We can make this happen though, friends, for testing. If we figure out this is a permanent solution, we will make it more better. Again, I forgot that the camera wasn't pointed at what I was doing, but what I'm doing is trying to just see if I can rig this up. That's not the right size hole for that. So what I need to do there is either ream it out a little, yeah, I'm gonna have to drill that out a little bit, this battery cable, to get it to fit on there. Okay, I'm willing to do that for now, because then I can connect that tight. Then the only thing we'll have to do is hook up a battery or maybe the jump pack, and then we could. Is this going to be long enough to reach or not? It's brittle, and that makes me nervous. I don't know. This is not the layout I would prefer of wires if this is a permanent solution. This is a temporary, sort out your problems kind of solution, because we don't know if it meshes yet. If it meshes, friends, we're in Fat City, and I just figured out a cool thing that could be done, all because I happen to have a horde of tractors, you know. Have a whole bunch of stuff that I was able to test different things. Alright. So now the only thing I gotta do, let me get a drill. Get the drill and some type of bit that will get us where we need to go. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm getting pretty excited for something that I know is going to end up in failure, but wouldn't it be cool if life just threw us one this time and my idea is going to work? Yeah, this is not easy to do up here in the air. I know it. Get off of there, you. Ever seen a drill bit used as a hammer? Now you have. This is actually hot now because that was dumb. I need to take that loose. Battery cable's loose while I do this. I got too excited. That won't work to have the battery hooked up right now because it'll arc. Boy, we just don't have the room, do we? Okay, come on. Oh, come on, baby doll. Let's have a solution for a change. That's not right. Might have to get a socket because I don't think I got the clearance to do much of anything here. Man, we're fighting. We're going the long way around here, friend. They're going the long way around. I'm worried that my solenoid might have to be different. Saying I don't know that I'm gonna have. Let's see if it'll go or we get any life out of it. I don't know. Nothing is tight, but nothing at all. I don't think I'm getting current to my, oh. Something ain't right. Possible that my battery's dead. It's possible that the starter's junk like I know it is. I'm getting nothing. Probably would help if I remembered how it worked. Well, that's a horn, so if I don't get a horn, then I'm not getting a connection. Okay, come on. Well, the tractor won't do anything. Why would that be? Would it be because this isn't making contact right? Huh. That's what happens when you leave them sit, friends. Everything else falls apart. I'm not getting anything out of this. This is the battery we used in that free 77. But I should get a light or something, and I'm not. Test light now, I guess. I don't know what to do. Are we getting any current up here? Obviously not. Are we getting any current here? 11.9, 11.8, 11.8. Okay. What is happening, friends? This is the battery cable. This should be getting current right away to it, and it's not. How can it not be getting current in this solid piece of cable from there to here? That just sucks a bunch. I mean, that's it. That's the only thing. There's no other, there's nothing. There's no reason why this right there should not be hot right now. And until that happens, we won't have anything. How can this be, friends? How can this be? I mean, it goes right down there and around. Okay, let's try this. Let's try, put that on there. 11.9. It's coming through the cable, but somewhere between there and the starter, it ain't going no more. And we didn't do anything, friends. We did nothing. I mean, are we not getting a good ground? Is that why? No matter what I do, I can't get a... How could that cable went bad? Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to connect the jump pack to the starter and try to start it by that way and see if it'll turn over. I need to hear it turn over so I know if this is even going to remotely be worth pursuing. All right. It's so silly all the time that I gotta fight stuff that I shouldn't have to fight. I mean, we've already went down this avenue and had the thing rigged up good. Let's see if I can reach in there and make the contact. Nope. Nope. Okay, pause. I need to get a gonna have to get a little piece of wire and hook it on the terminal and hang it out here where I can tap it, because I can't get a screwdriver in there. Okay, take 73. Let's see if I can get this clipped back in there on this absolutely no room of any kind situation. Let's put that there. Hopefully this is a good test lead. Sometimes they don't last long. Ah, jeez. Okay, now, here we go. Oh, it might work. It freaked out there for a minute and didn't want to play. Everything's loosey-goosey too, so that's not helping our cause. Come on. Sounds like crap, but I think it would work. We're gonna have to figure out why. I would imagine what the problem is the spacing is not right. You turned it over fine. It did not, yeah, we're gonna have to do some homework here. Turning it over is not the problem. We need to pull it back out now and see what kind of damage it did, if any, and figure out if what it sounds like to me is that maybe it needs spaced away from here a little bit. It sounded like it was solidly engaging, but it was like putting a lot of pressure on the front. I don't know about that. It just sounded bad up in the front. I don't know. So we might pull her off again. What we'll do is we'll take it off again and we'll see if we potentially need to put, like, part of my trouble could be that the solenoid is not all the way tight. But now that I have a proof of concept, I'm willing to start experimenting. So what we'll do is we'll take this all back off of here again, and then we will, when we put it together this next time, we'll get that back screw in the solenoid so that that's tight somehow. I don't know how we'll do that yet, but we'll figure out a way. We're so close that I can taste it, friends. I can taste it. I don't know though that my gear reduction thing would work because it is longer and I don't have that longer room. But I'm thinking my trouble with that terrible sound is right up in here. So it may need a spacer. That's what I'm saying. I guess I could have done some more scientific measurement, but I wasn't willing to really do that until I knew for a fact that it would spin it over just fine. So, and the other thing is this starter is not well, you know, it's sick. It needs attention. It's just not well. So we'll get it off of here again. And I'm getting ahead of myself. I need to take the solenoid off first. You know, we don't know that noise wasn't happening anyway, because this starter sounded terrible on the other tractor, and it may well be that part of that is because it's a piece of garbage. I don't know what we want to do. Take the starter apart and see if it's what we want. I'm thinking a washer behind each stud would probably help it though. I mean, it worked. I think we had to go this way. Oh, that time I was able to get it. Am I able to get it without taking that linkage off? That's nice. And now we gotta get that back bolt off. I hate to really modify this starter because this is my original starter for that other tractor, but maybe there I heard the lug washer hit the ground. Let's see what kind of terrible stuff happened. Anything terrible? Oh yeah, okay, so here we can see what that noise was. It's protruding in too much. because when it jammed it into the flywheel, it was rubbing on there. So that means I need to shim it out a little bit to make that happen. And I guess a scientific way about this would be putting it here and trying to measure how far off of the flange. Yeah, see, look at that. That one stops against there. It won't go any farther than that. You see that? This one, it ain't got that luxury. It comes out way too far. Like, it comes out all the way. So what I need to do is I need to figure out the difference between this edge of the flange and the maximum travel of this gear. And if I figure out that distance, that's what I need to transfer over to this new one and potentially space it out that much so that it doesn't hit. It's strange that that's the way it is, but that's just the way it is. I mean, it's gonna have to be, if we want this to work, we're gonna have to make our modifications out here, and that's just how she's gonna be. But I think if a guy did that, I don't see any marks on the teeth, you know? I think the teeth part of it we got licked. But we're gonna have to do some fancy shim work. Also, this thing is garbage, you can tell. It's not, it needs rebuilt, which we know, that's why we took it off of here. But, and see, there's the armature is too far forward and it was jammed against the thing. But the number of teeth being different, that is the least of our worries, I think, at this point. We just got to figure out what to do. Wouldn't it be sweet if a guy could just take that starter drive off and put it in this armature, but that won't work without some mods. This gear is wider too on the deer, so it's going to take a little bit, but I think I can make it work. And if I can make it work, friends, that would be a glorious day, because this little thing has been sitting here causing me sorrow because of all the time and effort I put into it for no return. Plus, that guy's got 685 of my dollars that I could have used on something else other than a starter that I don't ever see. So I'm gonna have to tinker around on this and figure out what we can do. And I suppose I'll bring you back in the next one and you'll find out what the solution was. So, yeah. All right, friends. I think I've got her licked here. That starter just sounds like garbage on its own, which it did when it was on the John Deere. That's why it's off, needing attention. But this motor's a lot smaller, so it can probably handle turning it over just fine. I think that this would work. However, there will be some modifications needing to be made, not just to this footage because of the wind, but I'll try to hold you where maybe I can shield the wind. But with it forward, spaced out forward like it is, which put less pressure on all this stuff, it interferes with the governor linkage. So what to do? Well, what I'm thinking I'm going to do is, I was wanting to take that all out of there to clean it up anyway, to make it freer traveling, because what it is here it's roll pinned. This piece is roll pinned on the shaft. Then there's a cotter pin under there with a washer, and then this end's got just a flat plate with a hole in it. And so I'm thinking if I just drill a couple new holes and move that all up ever so slightly, I could put this linkage underneath of it instead of on top, and that would still keep it in line. And I could do the same kind of thing down here, potentially. Instead of being on top of the plate, I'll flip this rod over and it'll be going up through. And I think that will give me the clearance I need to make this work. And if this does indeed work, like I am envisioning that it will work, everything will be reversible and can always be put back to original should I ever find what I want. And also, I can use a starter that I can get, you know. A John Deere starter for a 2020 is available. So I might just order a healthy one of those if it's going to live on here, now that I know this will work. And then when I get the new one, I will set about modifying it to do what I need it to do. This one I'll have rebuilt as a spare for the John Deere, and all will be right with the world. I would love, love, love if I could have just ordered another gear reduction starter, but it ain't in the cards, friends. That other starter's this much longer, and it ain't gonna happen in order to use this governor. And this governor's all out of whack anyway, so it's not gonna matter, you know, when we get this all redone. In theory, everything's gonna be right. I mean, it won't make a difference because I got to readjust it anyway. So I'll just do my modification, then reset the governor, and it should be fine. But I think if I do what I'm thinking, like raise this up and move the linkage underneath, that's going to give me that much more clearance. And that should put me above where it is now. I can't really focus on it with this phone camera, but it's just barely, you see that? That's really all I need. I need just a little bit to get past here, and I can probably even grind in this plastic a little notch if I have to, if I don't go all the way through, you know. But I think that this is going to be the solution, and it's going to let me use this available starter and get my $685 back, because I've kind of given up hope. I mean, they claim that it exists, but nobody can make that happen. And I wish I could find something else that would fit this, where this was angled out more, and then I wouldn't have to mess with all that governor stuff. But I don't know if I'm brave enough to just start ordering starters and hope that they fit, you know. This, I thought this would work. When I saw them side by side, I was working on that in my brain, but I actually did research and looked up the specs for a whole bunch of different starters. And this one and the other one that was on there, the original one, had about the same diameter gear. And since I knew the bolt pattern fit, to me that seemed like this was very possible that it would work. So I'm just going to get a healthier starter than this one, because it's on its last leg anyway. And then in theory, I think we'll be able to make it go. We can modify the tractor a little bit, and we can modify this a little bit. I wish this is one of those starters where the back part was rotatable and you could change it, and then we could just pivot this down. But it's just not that way, you know. Short of me taking another one and making it, or I even thought maybe I could take the tail off of the other one and bolt it up to the front half of this one and use the armature out of this one. And I just don't think I don't think that's in the cards either. I don't know. I guess we could experiment. I mean, we're not out anything because these are both garbage, basically. But it just makes a guy wonder what's all possible. But this is going to work. I mean, as long as it starts it, in theory, you won't be cranking on it very long anyway. I did try to start it, and I'm not getting anything. So I'd say we need to probably sand on the points again. And you know what I'm saying. Just start over on it. You know, we left it sit so long now because waiting on a starter that it's not going to play nice with us, and we're going to have to basically treat it like a non-running tractor again until we get it going. One thing that's very puzzling is my battery cable is totally dead. I mean, I'm getting no power through this cable at all. And that is a bummer because it was just fine. So I guess I will get a brand new cable made and go. I can't just cut the end off and see if it's good because I don't have enough cable. I'm maxed out of what I need. So I'll just get a new cable from there to up to the battery, and but I don't see any reason why this wouldn't go. I mean, I think I can make it work. Like I said, there's going to be a few hard things. The one thing's going to be really to get that back bolt in this, because right now it's not. And there really was no way to, with what it is, it's a screw, and I'd have to get just the right length of screwdriver, or what probably would be easier is to just get a bolt or an Allen headed something, or something I could fish back in there easy and tighten that up, and then that would be good, because I can't. Well, actually, now that I think about it, if I do end up changing that linkage, I might be able to get it in there with it on there, because that linkage is the only reason that I can't. So if I raise that up just a shade, I might be able to wiggle it in here without any effort, you know. But I'm pumped. I did not I didn't know that was going to work, but it seems like it will. So it turns it over, and that's all we need. If it rolls it over, it should start. So I will gather necessary supplies, and we'll try to tinker on this one day and see if we can make her go. I don't know if we should we modify the tractor first, get it to start with this setup, and then order a new starter and try it, or should we just order a new starter and let her eat, you know? What's the guy do? I don't know. But it's only money. You can't take it with you, you know? But I think it's going to go, and I think we're going to have it what we want. So, like I said, the hardest thing's going to be the back two things. I don't have that on there, but I think I'll be able to get it potentially this way pretty decently. If not, I'll custom bend up a wrench or something. We'll figure out a way to make it happen. But I think we might have this project somewhat figured out, and that's pretty cool. So yeah, I guess we'll leave this one here. After watching what you just saw, do you feel like your IQ has dropped lower than your credit score? Well, there's no reason that both of us should be miserable, so go ahead and hit that thumbs up and leave a comment. That stuff costs you nothing, and it really helps me out. Your banker may not approve, but I know mine will. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.